This here is the wise one. Um, and so I just want to recap a couple of all the teams, really. Just a short recap for right now. It's late. It's my first episode, so forgive me. I'm doing this on the fly. With that being said, I just want to touch on uh, the let's do the first team, the Heat and the Hawks. The Heat look like they're going to beat the Hawks, but with that being said, I'm not going to put anything past Trae Young, and so I I'll say the Heat in seven. With that being said, I want to say Trae Young is going to pull something out of his ass. I really do. Uh, he's just that guy. He can do it all. The swag and confidence that he has is second to none, and he still is the best player in the series. And so I'm going to hold on to that. They played stupidly. Uh, there could be a chance that they could upset the Heat. With that being said, on to the next team, the Celtics and the Nets. We already know that the reason why the Nets will be losing this series is mostly due to Kyrie and his vaccination status. Um, they didn't have any cohesiveness as a team. Kyrie is to blame for that. Yes, Seth, he hasn't really looked right. I guess he's been banged up due to the injuries. Uh, with that being said, KD could play better. Even if he did play better, he's not expected to single-handedly beat this Celtics team, especially the way they're playing now that they got their defensive lockdown specialist, and I believe his name is something Williams, Robin Williams or something. Forgive me, I don't remember his first name. But the Celtics will win that matchup like they are. They're 3-0 right now, and they will win, I believe, the next game that they play, which may be tomorrow or later today. It is about what I like to say. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm making this video. And so you have that. You have the Sixers and the Raptors. The Sixers will win that series. Unfortunately, it was a lot of poor officiating in that series. Nonetheless, they'll win the series. You have Tyrese Maxey, up and coming all star on the team. Tobias Harris finally has gotten his swag back. James Harden doesn't look like himself, but if he's able to average 15 assists, I'm okay with it. Me being a Sixers fan and what have you. Nonetheless, I'm unbiased on this show, this special edition show. Uh, and so the Raptors with Pascal Siakam, he's a beast the way he's playing. Playing like he has the entire country on his shoulders, which he kind of somewhat does, playing in Toronto. Um, Fred VanVleet, it's a shame. That brother, he can play. He can really, really play. And they're going to miss a lot now that he's injured. It's a fortunate thing that they got Scotty Barnes playing, but I believe that he re-injured that same leg, and so that's a whole nother story. Both teams are banged up with Joel Embiid injuring his thumb on his shooting hand, which will be a problem going forward for the rest of the playoffs. So that will be something to pay attention to. Nonetheless, like I said before, the Sixers will win the series. Um, the Raptors have a lot to look forward to with their rookie of the year in Scotty Barnes. Hopefully, they get more talent in the draft. But with Nick Nurse being their head coach, a lot of good things to come with that team in Toronto. Um, love that city, love that town. Being that I'm from there, big ups to that. Uh, on to the next team, which is one more team in the East that I'm missing. One more team. What's that other team in the East? Covered the Heat. Covered the Bucks and the Chicago Bulls. The Bucks and the Bulls. Not much to really talk about. Really, with that, the Bulls have been a fake team the entire year. Never really beat an elite team. Never did beat an elite team. I think they're 0-16 in the regular season against elite teams, and so uh, they're just continue to look like that against elite teams. Although the Bucks did lose Chris Middleton, went down due to injury in that last game that they played, and still weren't didn't couldn't manage to win that game, nor this last game that just transpired. I believe it was today. Yeah, it was today. It's just not good. But nonetheless, Zach LaVine, he's playing lesser than himself. He's probably playing at like a 50, 60% of himself because of that leg that he was supposed to get surgery on this year. Chose not to because he wanted to, sacrifice for the team. See what they could do this year, which seems to be nothing, since they had a whole myriad of injuries with it not just pertaining to Zach LaVine. You had Caruso that went down through the regular season. Defensive artist as well went down. Lonzo Ball got hurt, still is hurt, got surgery, and so they just lose. They're just missing a lot of players that can help them immensely defensively, which is exactly where they need the help. With them having a center that's not great defensively, but the thing is, you need to have him on the court because of what he can give you offensively. Offensively, he is a top 5 big man in this league, and so that's something to think about. Nonetheless, this year is not the year for them. They'll be a true contending team. You would like to think next year when they get back their players and Lonzo Ball specifically. Caruso's great defensively, but he just came back, and him just being one guy out there that plays defense is not enough to get it done as a unit. When they get back Lonzo Ball, they'll have guys defensively that can play. With that guy specifically that plays at the power forward position, I don't know his name right now at this moment, but you have him, and then you'd have Caruso along with Lonzo. That would make for a good defensive team, although Vucevic isn't a defender. You still have DeRozan and LaVine, although they're not great defenders either. Them being wing guys, lengthy guys, could play, could add to the defense if they choose to play defense. A lot of players, it's just an effort thing with defense. When you have a lot of guys playing defense, you don't want to be the only one not playing defense. So that just helps you improve your defense as a whole, having the guys on that play on that end and influence good play. And so I move on to our Western Conference teams, with that being the Suns and the Pelicans. That's an odd matchup, but not really. The only reason this is really much of a matchup right now at this point in time is because Devin Booker is injured with the hamstring, continues to get injured with the hamstring. This is like his 4th time having a hamstring issue within 2-3 years. And so that's something he may need to get surgery on to get his hamstring aligned or whatever needs to happen with that. Chris Paul, him being the old age veteran, that's good for the Suns team in terms of him leading the team. But it's just one of those things where he's still the all-star of the team. And so him being the age that he is, I just don't think you can expect him to be the consistent scoring threat that you may need him to be in this time that Devin Booker's hurt. And so, although the Suns are the better team, of course, they may still lose the series, which is so unfortunate because of this Devin Booker injury. I'd like to give big ups to Brandon Ingram. He's just showing his growth as a player and as an all-star. Although he didn't make the all-star team this year, he still is an all-star. Once you're an all-star, you're an all-star. So, but I'm not just saying that to take any shots at Brandon Ingram. He's played mighty well. Zion Williamson isn't on the team, and so he's established himself as the main player, as the number one option on the team, and he's ran away with it, which is good for him. Love all these players on the team. They got a lot of youth, I'd like to say, a lot of youth that aren't afraid of the moment, which is the problem. And especially in this last game that just went down a couple hours ago, the Pelicans, they look like they're here to stay. You have a guy in Herbert Jones who's a perimeter defender. Right now, he is a top three perimeter defender in this league as a rookie, which is crazy. But that's just what it is. I could get into the specifics, but I don't. Even me, I don't know all of the specifics. But he plays. Like I said, defensive is an effort thing. With his athletic ability and his length as a defender, he probably has a 7 foot wingspan with his arms. So, just one of those things. That the Pelicans have everything that you need to succeed. They have a guy in C.J. McCollum who's a great Robin, as we all know, who can score from a three-level scorer, who can also facilitate and do all of those things that you need him to do. You also have a guy in Graham who's a three-point specialist and who can shoot. Herbert Jones can shoot too as a defender. And so that's just, and then you have a guy in Valanciunas who's a center. He may not be the most athletic center when you're talking about going up against Joel Embiid or Jokic, but really and truly, who needs to be? There's only one Jokic and there's one Joel Embiid in the NBA. Other than that, Jonas Valanciunas, he can be my big man on any team, any day. He's that good with his skills and his power as a big man. He can move people. He's strong and he has that skill. At the end of the day, when you're skilled, you don't need to be the most athletic person on the court. And so that's what he poses as a threat. And he's a bigger dude than DeAndre Ayton. If he wants, he can power DeAndre Ayton. Then he has the skill to get to his spots. And so that's just another thing to think about. I still have the Suns winning. Hopefully they get Devin Booker back before the series is over, and I would definitely take the Suns in this series, and definitely to probably go to the finals. That's how important Devin Booker is to the team. They were and have been the best team for the past 2 years now. With that being said, we go on to the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. Yeah. With the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves, you have D'Angelo Russell, John Morant, Jaren Jackson, although I think he got injured. I don't know what happened with Jaren Jackson, but you got Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I had, before this series started, I had the Timberwolves winning the series because of all of the talent, and that's really it. And they have more experience. Yes, the Grizzlies have been the better team, and they want all the smoke. They want to climb up the chimney, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, and Edwards, I'm sure he wants all of that too. And D'Angelo Russell. I saw how D'Angelo Russell played when he was on that Nets team post-Lakers and how he became an all-star. And then you already see how Edwards is taking off. And we've already seen how Karl Anthony Towns has established himself as a perennial all-star already in this league. Although he's immature and he still plays like he's rookie at times, which is why they're losing the way they are. But part of the reason why they're losing is I'd like to say due to coaching. You can't be on beating a team by like 25 points and then the team comes back and takes the lead and you don't even call one timeout in that entire duration to help provide some relief or something for the team. The team, although they have more experience than the Grizzlies, they still lack experience. Both teams lack experience. D'Angelo Russell made the playoffs probably once or twice in his career. Karl Anthony Towns, this being the second time. John Morant has never made the playoffs. Yeah, they didn't. They may have lost and came close, but nonetheless, they never made the playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves have, and so with that being said, they have the firepower and more talent to win, which they should. So, really and truly, it comes down to the coach for me. If they don't win and if they don't come out of this first round, I believe the head coach does need to get fired immediately. I wouldn't waste no time at all. And so when I proceed to the next team in terms of the Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks, I have the Dallas Mavericks Never believed in the Utah Jazz, never will. Rudy Gobert is not the second best player on any team, and if he is, that will just go to show you what the results will be. And so far with the Utah Jazz, you see the results. Um, it's just one of those things where Rudy Gobert is great defensively, but he has so many offensive efficiencies that you can't just run a sustainable offense, especially with the years that the Utah Jazz have been running it. Like, it's just teams know, and then the Rudy Gobert's teammates know that they can't trust him in terms of passing him the ball in pick and roll situations if it's not an easy lob. If they have to pass it to him in a drop pass or a pocket pass or any type of pass where there may be a little bit of traffic involved, he's not going to make the catch. He has butter hands, and so players on the Utah Jazz would rather shoot the ball or maybe even take a contested shot than give him those type of passes, knowing that he'll turn the ball over, and so that kind of hinders their team as an offense. And so once they lose in this first round, which I'm sure they will, they'll try to make changes in breaking that team up, which they should. They shouldn't waste any more time, not like the Portland Trailblazers have. Nonetheless, the last team that I will be talking about, the last team is the Suns. You have the Suns and the Denver Nuggets and the Warriors. It's not really much to talk about. As we know, Jokic, he's missing both of his players in Jamal Murray and Michael Porter. And nonetheless, they're going up against a well-oiled machine in the Golden State Warriors, who have Steph Curry back coming off the bench, going up against backup players. So that's just kind of what that is, if you catch my drift. And then they also have Jordan Poole. The Warriors do. They just don't have enough ammunition to go up against the Warriors. But it's good that Jokic managed to get a game, being the MVP, the former MVP that he was, albeit by default, because another player got injured and missed a couple of games. But that was it for today. That pretty much does it for the recap. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was my first time doing this on the fly. I can't wait to do this again and provide more content for you guys. Please, if you like, and shit, even if you don't, give a brother a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe. Thank you.